Most people see a diamond after the hard work ends. They see it inside a glass case under soft lights. They see the clean white fire inside the stone. They see the velvet box, the champagne, and the beautiful woman who wears it. I see something different. I see pressure. I see tiny cracks. I see angles that can save millions of dollars or destroy them in 1 second. My name is Rowan. I am 38 years old and I cut diamonds for a living. Not ordinary diamonds. I work with stones that collectors, royal families, and billionaires fight to own. Some arrive looking ugly and lifeless. They are rough rocks with strange shapes and cloudy surfaces. Then I study them, map them, cut them, and polish them until they return light like small stars. My workshop sits below Manhattan. There are no beautiful windows there. There is no Fifth Avenue sunlight. The room has thick concrete walls and heavy steel doors. Cameras, scanners, alarms, and 2 separate security systems protect it. Most days, I spend 16 hours inside it. The air smells like metal, oil, and fine stone dust. I wear special glasses over my eyes. I also use magnification lenses. One tiny mark can change everything. My fingers are nicked and raw from the tools. Diamond dust enters every small line around my nails. I understand the cost of one wrong movement. A mistake smaller than a millimeter can damage a stone worth $10 million. That fact never frightened me. It focused me. When I place a rough diamond under my scanner, the outside world disappears. I study every line inside the stone. I trace the paths light will take. I calculate where it will move. I calculate how much weight I can save. I know exactly where to cut. I know when to wait. I know when one more touch will create beauty or destroy it. My husband, Tristan, understood none of that. Tristan was 42. He sold diamonds. I made them valuable. He made them desirable. He wore dark custom suits that fitted him perfectly. His shoes always looked new. His hair never moved out of place. He knew which champagne to order, which restaurant had the longest waiting list, and which compliment each rich client wanted. People loved him. At charity dinners, Tristan could enter a room of strangers and leave with 5 new friends. I could spend 5 hours beside one diamond without speaking. That difference once seemed perfect to me. I was the work. He was the show. I was the laser. He was the velvet box. I breathed diamond dust in a concrete room so he could drink champagne above Manhattan. I studied the flaws. He sold the dream. For 10 years, my hands helped build his small jewelry business into an international name. His boutique carried his name. His clients called him a genius. Magazines photographed him. They rarely photographed me. At first, I did not care. I loved the work, and I loved Tristan. I believed that when he looked at me, he saw something rare. I did not understand that he mainly saw something useful. There was also another woman between us. Her name was Serena. She did not live with us. She did not work with us. For many years, I hardly saw her, but her shadow lived everywhere. Serena was Tristan's former fiancée. She came from an old, wealthy fashion family. Her photographs appeared in magazines. She attended events in Paris, Milan, London, and New York. She had perfect clothes, perfect hair, and a confidence born of never worrying about money. She left Tristan years before I met him. According to Tristan, She broke his heart because he was not rich enough. She was shallow, he once told me. She loved names and money more than people. He said it like he hated her. I believed him. Then he started buying dresses for me. At first, I thought it was sweet. You work too much, he said. Let me help you. The dresses were elegant, but never felt like me. Long lines, pale colors, very expensive fabrics. One evening, I wore a black dress. I chose myself to a client dinner. Tristan looked at me and frowned. You could look more refined, Rowan. I laughed because I thought he was joking. He was not. You spend too much time underground, he added. You forget what our clients expect. The clients who bought stones cut by my hands. A month later, I saw a photograph of Serena online. She wore a dress almost identical to one Tristan had recently bought for me. Something cold touched my stomach. I said nothing. Then it happened again. And again, he suggested a different hairstyle. I later saw Serena wearing it. He bought me a cream coat. Serena owned almost the same coat. He wanted me to wear softer perfume because strong scents feel cheap. It was Serena's perfume. Whenever I complained, Tristan smiled as if I was being silly. Why are you thinking about Serena? You bring her up, I said. No, you do. That answer always confused me. He told me Serena meant nothing. Then he shaped me in her image. I started questioning myself. Maybe I really was too rough. Maybe my damaged hands embarrassed him. Maybe rich clients did not want to see the woman who actually cut their diamonds, so I worked harder. I stayed underground longer. I produced better stones. I solved cutting problems other experts could not solve. When Tristan praised me, I felt relief. When he criticized my clothes, my hair, or my tired face, I promised myself to improve. That was my mistake. I knew how to study flaws inside diamonds, but I refused to study the flaws inside my marriage. Then Tristan brought me the blue stone, and everything changed. He arrived at my workshop shortly after 9 one evening. I had already worked for 13 hours. My eyes hurt from the magnification lenses. My back felt stiff. Fine dust covered the front of my gray work coat. Tristan entered through the security door, carrying a black case. Even before he opened it, I knew something important sat inside. He looked excited, not normal business excitement. Something deeper, something almost personal. I have something extraordinary for you, he said. He placed the case on my clean inspection table. Then he opened it. For several seconds, I forgot to breathe. Inside the case sat one of the largest rough blue diamonds I had ever seen. It was 50 carats. Its surface looked dark and uneven, but blue light seemed trapped deep inside it. I moved closer. Where did you get this? Private deal. From whom? An anonymous royal client? I looked up at him. A royal client? He wants privacy. I returned my attention to the diamond. What is the value? About 15 million before cutting. My hands became completely still. A stone like that demanded months of planning under normal conditions. When does the client need it? Next week? I stared at him. That is not enough time. For anyone else, maybe? He smiled. But you are Rowan. For years, that kind of praise controlled me. That night, it still worked. I looked at the diamond again. What shape? A heart. That surprised me. Large blue stones usually received cuts that protected weight and color. A heart shape could waste valuable material. Why a heart? The client wants to propose. Tristan touched my shoulder. Make it perfect. I almost smiled. Perfect does not exist. It does when you work. Then he left. I stayed. Of course I stayed. I entered the stone into my grading system and carried it into the scanning room. The scanner produced thousands of images from different angles. My private software turned those images into a detailed three-dimensional model. I studied the internal lines. The stone contained several difficult areas. One wrong cut could destroy millions. I needed its full history before I planned anything. The ownership documents were not in the physical case. Tristan's tablet connected automatically to our private grading server. I opened the shared records and searched for the stone's file. Nothing appeared under the name Azure Heart. I searched by weight. Nothing. Then I noticed a protected directory. Project Restoration. I almost ignored it, but the creation date matched the day Tristan bought the stone. I clicked. The system requested a password. That was strange. Financial and stone records at the company were normally available to me. I tried Tristan's business password. Wrong. I tried a second one. Wrong. Then I used my administrator access. Another layer appeared. That was when my breathing changed. Someone had deliberately hidden these records from me. I opened the security tools I used to lock our proprietary cutting files. Within several minutes, the directory opened. At first, I saw photographs. Serena beside Lake Como. Serena inside a private aircraft. Serena drinking champagne on a balcony. Serena beside Tristan. I stopped moving. My eyes remained on one photograph. Tristan had his hand around her waist. Serena kissed his cheek. The date appeared in the corner. 4 years earlier. I opened another. 3 years earlier. Another. Last year. Another. 6 weeks earlier. My chest became tight. My husband had not forgotten Serena. He had returned to her. For 4 years. 4 years of secret hotels, private flights, expensive dinners, jewelry, and holidays. 4 years of Tristan coming home to me after touching her. 4 years of telling me that I imagined her shadow. My hands started shaking. I placed them flat on the metal table. Stop, I whispered. I did not know whether I spoke to my hands or my heart. I wanted to close the folder. I wanted to walk upstairs. I wanted to find Tristan and throw the tablet against his perfect face. But something on the screen stopped me. A spreadsheet. It listed diamond identification numbers. I knew those numbers. They belonged to my private family collection. My grandfather bought some of those stones decades earlier. My mother protected them. After her death, they became mine. I opened the spreadsheet. One column said, original. Another said replacement. A third said sale. A fourth said transfer. I read the first line 3 times. Then I opened my private vault records. The numbers matched. I walked into the vault. My legs felt weak, but my mind became strangely calm. I opened the first case. A flawless natural diamond sat inside. At least, it looked natural. I placed it under my laboratory reader. The machine finished its test. Laboratory ground. I stared at the result. I tested another. Laboratory grown. Another. Laboratory groan. My stomach turned. I opened case after case. Tristan had stolen my natural diamonds. He replaced them with cheaper laboratory stones that looked almost identical. To most buyers, the replacements could pass through a simple inspection, but they could not fool my equipment. I returned to the computer. Now I understood the spreadsheet. The stolen diamonds had entered private sales. The money moved through several companies. Then it went towards Serena, a villa rental, designer clothing, private travel, a yacht, jewelry, and finally the blue diamond. I followed the transfers. The $15 million Azure Heart came from money Tristan created by selling my own stones. He bought Serena's engagement diamond with my stolen wealth. I leaned against the table. The room felt too small. The air felt heavy. But the worst part had not arrived yet. There was a folder called Messages. I opened it. Thousands of texts appeared. Some were romantic, some were sexual, some made jokes about me. One message from Serena said, "Does she really believe you still love her?" Tristan answered, "Rowan believes what she needs to believe." Another message said, "She has no idea how much we took." He answered, "She lives underground. She knows diamonds better than people." Serena replied with a laughing symbol. I felt something inside me crack. Then I found the message that ended my marriage. Tristan sent it 3 days earlier. "The worker bee is in the basement right now, cutting your blue diamond. She's so desperate for my approval, she'll make it flawless." My mouth became dry. The message continued, "Once the ring is on your finger next week, I will anonymously tip off the FBI that Rowan has been running the synthetic swap fraud." I stopped reading. Then I forced myself to continue. "She'll lose her cutting license and take the blame for the missing stones. I'll liquidate the boutique. Then we leave for Lake Como." The final line burned harder than everything before it. "You will always be my only queen." I sat down. For 10 years, I built Tristan's business. For 4 years, he slept with Serena. For 3 years, he stole from me. Now he planned to make me responsible for his crimes. He did not simply want a divorce. He wanted to destroy my name, my career, my freedom. He wanted the authorities to believe I created the synthetic replacements. Of course they could believe it. I controlled the cutting rooms. I had access to the vault. I knew how to create stones. I knew how to change identification marks. My skills made me the perfect suspect. That was why he kept me working underground. That was why he let the business records carry his public name. Many of the technical systems still ran under my name. He needed me useful. Then he needed me guilty. I looked through the glass wall at the blue diamond. The 3-dimensional scan turned slowly on the monitor beside it. For several minutes, I felt nothing. Then the truth became very simple. The man I loved had not only cheated on me, he used my hands to build a ring for the woman he truly wanted. He used my money to buy the stone, and he planned to send me to prison after I finished it. I remembered every dress he chose for me, every comment about my hair, every time he told me to become more refined. He never wanted Rowan. He wanted a quieter version of Serena. No, that was not completely true. He wanted Serena for love and status. He wanted me for labor. I had spent years trying to become perfect for a man who never valued what made me extraordinary. The pain remained, but underneath it, something colder appeared. My fear disappeared. My need for his approval disappeared with it. I looked at my hands. Small scars crossed my fingers. Those hands had produced stones Tristan sold for millions. Those hands had built his empire. Those hands could also take it apart. A diamond is one of the hardest natural materials in the world. But hardness does not mean safety. A diamond has directions of weakness. A trained cutter studies those directions. Then one precise strike can split it. I finally understood Tristan. He had a weakness too. His confidence. He believed I was too tired, too loyal, and too desperate to question him. He believed I would cry before I could calculate. He was wrong. I copied the files. Every message, every transfer, every vault number, every replacement record, every photograph. I made several secure copies. Then, I returned the tablet exactly where Tristan had left it. I cleaned the table. I closed every window on the computer. I looked at my reflection in the dark glass. My face looked pale. My eyes did not. The desperate wife had disappeared. The cutter remained. I went home at 2 a.m. Tristan slept in our bed. For one strange moment, I stood in the doorway and watched him. 10 years of my life lay under those expensive sheets. I wanted to hate him loudly. Instead, I felt quiet. That quiet saved me. The next morning, Tristan entered the kitchen while I drank coffee. He kissed my forehead. How is my genius? I looked tired because I truly was exhausted. The blue stone is difficult. His smile disappeared for half a second. Then it returned. But you can do it. Yes. When, before the gala, his whole face brightened. I knew it. I looked down at my coffee. It will be the greatest cut of my life. Tristan touched my hand. That's my girl. I nearly laughed. Instead, I let him believe me. That afternoon, I contacted Callum. He was 45. He worked as a chief investigator in high-value jewel fraud for Lloyd's of London. I knew his name because he once investigated a stolen stone connected to one of our clients. Tristan hated him. That made Callum useful. I called from a private line and spoke a single sentence. I have evidence about Tristan's diamond business. He asked only one question. How serious? Serious enough to destroy it. We met inside a private security room in my workshop after midnight. Callum arrived alone. He wore a dark coat and carried no unnecessary bags. His face was set and tired. His eyes missed nothing. He asked none. I gave him the vault reports. He read them. I gave him the laboratory tests. He studied them. I showed him the wire transfers. His jaw tightened. Then I showed him Tristan's messages. Callum became completely still. He plans to frame you. Yes. And this blue diamond? He bought it with money from my stolen stones. Where is it? Inside my vault. He looked at me for several seconds. You understand what this will mean. I do. We need authorities involved before Tristan moves anything. I know. Callum placed the papers down. For the first time that night, he looked straight at my hands. He noticed the cuts. How many hours do you work? Usually 16. For him? For the stones. That isn't the same thing. Nobody had said that to me before. I looked away. Callum walked toward my scanning station. The blueprints covered 3 monitors. You designed this software? Most of it. And the cutting system? Yes. He studied the geometric models. Then he looked back at me. Your mind is extraordinary, Rowan. The words should not have mattered. But they did. Tristan praised my results when they made him money. Callum respected the person who created them. There was no soft pity in his voice. He did not look at me like a weak wife with a cheating husband. He looked at me like a professional, standing inside her own kingdom. That difference made me straighten up. We spent hours creating the trap. I gave Callum copies of everything. He contacted the necessary investigators. The real blue diamond could not remain in Tristan's control. So I cut it. For 3 days, I barely left the workshop. The stone required my complete attention. I mapped the internal structure again and again. The first laser line removed a dangerous section. The second protected the strongest blue color. Then came the slow work. Cut, measure, study, polish. Measure again. Every movement had a purpose. Tristan visited twice. Each time, I showed him only what he needed to see. On the 4th night, the azure heart sat under my light. It weighed far less than the original rough stone, but its color looked deeper. Its heart shape remained balanced. Light entered through the top and returned in strong blue flashes. For a moment, despite everything, I smiled. It felt beautiful. Maybe it really was the best cut of my life. Tristan never touched it. Before sunrise, I transferred the real diamond through the legal evidence process arranged by Callum and the investigators. The azure heart entered protected international evidence custody. Then I returned to my laboratory. Tristan expected a blue heart, so I gave him one. I had access to advanced laboratory equipment for research and stone analysis. Using that system, I produced a blue synthetic diamond with almost the same visual appearance. It was not worth $15 million, but under normal ballroom lighting, Tristan would never know. I cut it to match the real stone. Then I used my microscopic laser. I placed a tiny code inside the girdle. The mark remained invisible to the naked eye. Under high magnification, it became clear. A tracking code appeared first, then several words: synthetic, fake, federal evidence. I looked at those words through my loupe. For the first time in days, I laughed. Not loudly, not yet. I cleaned the synthetic stone. I placed it inside Tristan's velvet box. He entered the workshop that evening. Is it ready? I handed him the box. His fingers almost shook as he opened it. Blue light flashed across his face. My God, he lifted the stone toward the lamp. It's perfect. Yes, I said. He looked at me with something close to affection. For 1 second, the old Rowan wanted to believe that expression. Then, I remembered his message. Worker B, federal prison, only queen. That old hope died completely. Tristan closed the box. You saved me. No, I said quietly. He misunderstood my meaning. He kissed my cheek. You always do. He left with the fake diamond. I watched the security monitor as the elevator carried him upstairs. Callum stood behind me. Are you ready for tomorrow? I removed my work glasses. Yes. He nodded toward the dark screen. He's about to lose everything. I looked at the empty elevator. No. Callum waited. He's about to lose everything that belonged to me. Tristan's gala filled one of Fifth Avenue's largest luxury ballrooms. 500 guests attended. Billionaires came, fashion leaders came, collectors came, cameras came. Tristan wanted the world to watch him. That was exactly what we needed. I arrived after the event started. For 10 years, Tristan saw me in work clothes more often than evening clothes. That night, I gave him a final lesson about appearances. I wore a custom white silk gown with strong, clean lines. The fabric caught every light in the room. My hair sat away from my face in a sharp, simple style. I wore no large necklace. I needed no diamond around my neck. When the ballroom doors opened, people turned, then more people turned. The room slowly became quieter. I walked down the center aisle. I did not hurry. For years, I believed Serena owned rooms like this. Now I understood something. Confidence did not come from a family name. It came from knowing exactly who you were. Tristan stood on the stage. Serena stood beside him. She wore diamonds around her neck, ears, and wrists. Then Tristan saw me. His smile disappeared. Rowan? I stopped near the front. Serena looked from him to me. Tristan quickly moved one hand behind his back. He held the ring box. I almost smiled. "Please continue," I said. His face became pale. "What are you doing here?" "Watching your proposal." The room became completely silent. Serena stepped closer to Tristan. "What's happening?" Before he could answer, the main doors opened again. Callum entered. Several federal agents walked beside him. Tristan stepped backward. "No." Callum climbed onto the stage. Tristan put the ring box on the table. Tristan looked toward the exits. Agents already stood there. Serena grabbed his arm. "What did you do?" He ignored her. "This is ridiculous," he said loudly. "Rowan, tell them." I said nothing. One agent took the box. Callum opened it. Inside sat the blue heart. He placed the ring beneath a high-powered digital microscope connected to the ballroom screens. Tristan stared at me. His face finally showed fear. The screens filled with blue. The microscope moved closer. Closer. Then the laser mark appeared. Synthetic fake. Federal evidence. Someone in the audience shouted. Another person stood. Then the screens changed. Bank records appeared. Wire transfers. Vault identification numbers. Photographs of Serena and Tristan. Then their messages appeared. The entire room saw them. The worker bee. The stolen diamonds. The plan to blame me. The plan to send me to prison. The promise to leave for Lake Como. "You will always be my only queen." Serena covered her mouth. Tristan looked sick. Then chaos exploded. Clients started shouting, "You sold me 3 stones. Are minerial? Call my lawyer." Reporters pushed toward the stage. Camera flashes filled the room. Tristan tried to move away. An agent caught his arm. Another agent read the charges: international wire fraud, grand larceny, conspiracy. Metal cuffs closed around Tristan's wrists. Serena screamed, "I didn't know." Another screen showed the messages about the stolen money. Her face fell. Agents moved toward her. "He's to blame now." She pointed at Tristan. "You promised she would never know." That sentence erased any lingering doubt. An agent removed the synthetic ring from her hand. Then they placed her in cuffs. Tristan looked at me. His perfect public mask had disappeared. His hair had fallen across his forehead. Sweat covered his face. Rowan. I watched him. He pulled against the agents. Rowan, please. I said nothing. It was a mistake. Still nothing. I was confused. Then he fell to his knees. You're my wife. The ballroom watched. You always fix things, he cried. You fix the stones. You fix everything. Please help me. I looked down at him. For years, I believed Tristan was the beautiful part of our life. Now I saw him clearly. He was not a rare stone. He was a cheap copy wrapped in an expensive box. I stepped closer. You still loved your ex, Tristan. His mouth opened. So I cut both of you out of my life. He started crying harder. I felt nothing. Enjoy the dirt. Then I turned away. I walked through the ballroom. Tristan shouted my name behind me. I did not turn back. Outside, New York felt cold and clean. For the first time in years, I could breathe without thinking about what Tristan wanted from me. Callum came outside several minutes later. He walked toward my car and smiled. Not the smile Tristan used on clients. A quiet smile. A real one. He offered me his arm. I looked at it. Then I looked at him. Where now? He asked. I smiled. Forward. 1 year later, I stood inside my own diamond cutting house in Antwerp. My name appeared above the entrance. Not Tristan's, mine. Collectors from around the world came directly to me. Young cutters trained under me. No one asked me to hide underground. No one asked me to change my clothes because another woman looked better. No one called my hands ugly. Those hands built everything around me. One afternoon, I stood over a new rough diamond while Callum entered with 2 cups of coffee. He placed one beside me. You forgot lunch again? I remembered it. You ignored it. I laughed. He laughed too. My life felt larger now, not because another man entered it, because I finally returned to myself. People sometimes tell women that when a man still loves his ex, the new woman needs to become prettier, calmer, richer, or more exciting. I believed that lie for years. I tried to polish myself into someone Tristan could value. But Tristan never wanted a diamond. He wanted a mirror for his own vanity. I did not lose because Serena looked more glamorous. I almost lost because I forgot my own value. That never happened again. I broke his illusion. I reclaimed my work. I reclaimed my name. I reclaimed my life. And this time, I decided who deserved a place inside it.